Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are going to get into something we all deal with, those really tough, unwanted feelings. We're going to explore a new way of looking at them that might just completely change your relationship with your own mind. So let's just dive right in. I want to start with this, right here. Just let this question sink in for a second. What if all those emotions you pour so much energy into fighting or ignoring or trying to fix, what if they're actually on your side? Okay, so there's a whole category of feelings that, pretty much everyone on the planet agrees are, well, not fun. They're painful. We don't like them. And a lot of the time, we just wish they'd go away. Now, this whole framework we're exploring comes from the work of Dr. Michael Lukens, who built on the foundational emotion theory of Sylvan Tompkins. Let's put some names to the feelings we're going to be talking about. Yep, there they are. Fear, anger, sadness, disgust, guilt, and shame. Does any of those sound like a good time to you? Of course not, right? We're basically programmed from day one to try and keep these feelings in check, to limit them, and we spend a ton of energy trying to get rid of them altogether.
Now, a really common trap we all fall into is trying to use our thoughts to wrestle these feelings into submission. But according to Dr. Lukens, the source for this whole explainer, that's a pretty naive mistake about how our brains are actually wired.
And this is so key. You can't just decide, you know what? I'm not going to be angry at my boss anymore, and expect that feeling to just, poof, disappear. That anger is tangled up with a deep, baked-in meaning, and you can't just flip a switch on that. It's just not how we work. This really lays it all out, doesn't it? The myth is that we're in total command, that we can just think positive and everything will be fine. But the deeper reality is that changing how you feel is a process. I love this quote from Dr. Lukens. You have to change the dance to change the meaning of the dance. You have to actually change your actions, your patterns, your real-world experiences to change the feeling that goes along with them. So if we can't just think them away, what are we supposed to do? This is where it gets really cool. This is the big mindset shift. These feelings aren't bugs in your programming. They are features, and they were designed for a very, very good reason. That's right. Every single one of these painful emotions basically has Mother Nature's stamp of approval. You can think of them as these super old, super fast response programs that are designed to completely bypass our slow, clunky logical brain in order to keep us alive. A tiger jumps out of the bushes, you don't have time to think. Boom, the fear program is already running. You react first, you ask questions later. And that's exactly how it's supposed to work. So let's run through their jobs real quick. Starting with the big one, fear. It's your body's alarm system. Simple as that. It's just screaming, hey, danger, back away, stay safe. Its only job is to protect you. Anger? That's your boundary defender. It's the signal that says, whoa, a line was just crossed. And the interesting thing is, it usually pops up when, on some level, you feel strong enough to actually fight back and protect what's yours. And sadness is not weakness. It is just an honest acknowledgement that you've been wounded. It's this deep, internal signal calling for help, for comfort, for care when life has knocked you down. It's the little cub crying for its ma. Disgust is so primal. Mother Nature literally gave us this feeling so we wouldn't eat poison berries and die. It's a powerful, full-bodied no. It tells us to stay away from anything, whether it's spoiled food or a toxic idea that could poison us. And finally, guilt and shame. These get a bad rap, but they're incredibly powerful social emotions. They're like the glue that holds society together. They're the signals that keep us in line with our community, our promises, and our values so we don't get kicked out of the tribe. So if all these feelings are just natural protective signals, what happens when we spend our entire lives fighting them? Well, it turns out that fight costs us a lot. Think about your mental energy like a phone battery. It's a finite resource, right? And when we treat fear or anger or sadness like an enemy we have to defeat, a huge chunk of our daily battery life gets spent just defending against them, worrying, suppressing, avoiding. And this chart just says it all. This constant battle with our own feelings hijacks the energy that's supposed to be fueling the good stuff, our interest in the world, our desires, our passions. And when those get starved of energy, well, there's just not much room left for joy. It's the great paradox. By fighting so hard to get rid of pain, we accidentally block the path to happiness. So what's the alternative? What if, instead of fighting, we started listening? That's the new path forward. It's about fundamentally changing our relationship with these signals. And it really comes down to these 3 steps. First, just stop fighting.
Let the feeling be there for a second without having to fix it. Second, get curious. Ask it questions. What are you trying to protect me from? What line was crossed? What wound needs tending to? And finally, try to understand its protective purpose. See it not as an enemy, but as a really ancient, sometimes clumsy ally.
So I'll leave you with this. When we start seeing these feelings as data instead of as threats, we free up an unbelievable amount of energy. And that's energy we can reinvest into the things that make life worth living: interest, desire, and joy. So the real question isn't how to get rid of your feelings. The question is, what are they trying to tell you?